Well, good afternoon. My name is Danielle Casey. I'm the Executive Vice President here with the Greater Sacramento Economic Council. I'm very excited about this webinar today and the tool that we're sharing with the community, and I'll tell you much more about that in just a little bit. We have got a great number of participants online now, so I'm going to go ahead and get us rolling. I am very excited to welcome our guest host for today's program, who's going to kick things off and really get us into context thinking about support for entrepreneurs and small businesses in our region. And they have a wonderful example of an organization and a program going on that we wanted you to learn more about in context with SizeUp. Dr. Brian Gladden is the founder and CEO of the Strategy and Innovation Institute. It's a management consulting firm that helps executives innovate and grow their companies through proven strategic methods. He has a doctorate in business strategy and innovation and is the entrepreneur in residence for the Sac State Carlsen Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. We're thrilled to have him here with us today. He is also a proud resident of Rockland, and he has 30 years of experience in sales and business development strategy. Brian, take us away.
Thank you, Danielle. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for having me today. Looking forward to the presentation in just a few moments from the gentleman from SizeUp. But to kind of give some context as to why I think it's important, today's topic, and how it melds nicely with what we're doing at this Carlsen Center. The Carlsen Center at Sac State for Entrepreneur and Innovation is really one of the hubs for the community, not just for students, to bring together innovation from a corporate setting to startups, entrepreneurs, small businesses, to give the tools that you need to innovate and grow your businesses. Whether it's just I have an idea and I need help how to start it and where to go to get funding and VCs and connections, or I'm a small business and I need help growing. We have these resources with institutions, cities, chambers, groups like the Greater Sacramento Economic Development Corporation, other institutions and universities nearby, where we're trying to bring together all the best practices, tools, and consultants like myself to help you. So it's not just for students, it's for the community, and we're trying to be the hub. And it's important for small businesses to be able to get the data to help validate ideas that they have any value, to minimize your risk, get to market faster without a lot of money. And I believe that this tool that SizeUp is going to talk about today is one of those that can help you with the business intelligence, your market research, validating assumptions, where to put your money without spending a lot of time and effort. So without further ado, I'm excited to turn it back to Danielle and get us going.
Thank you so much, Brian. I definitely encourage everyone to check out Sacramento State's Carlsen Entrepreneur and Innovation Center. If you have ideas, you need help, we've actually put information on the screen in front of you where you can reach out to Brian or Jesse or Cameron over at the center for assistance, for virtual entrepreneurship in residence support. And they have a vast number of really beneficial virtual programs going on right now. They've done a tremendous job pivoting on their own as well. Before I introduce our speakers for today, I do want to get into a little bit very quickly of the importance of small business in our region and why Greater Sacramento decided that this was a tool that would make sense for us to launch on our website and make available for free to any small business in the Greater Sacramento region. A little bit of my background, I come from local economic development, so I spent 15 plus years working for first a small rural community and then a larger, somewhat urban community that had a significant amount of corporate headquarters and regional offices. But consistently throughout those communities and through every community in the country, the vast majority of our employers are small businesses. We know right now that certainly Greater Sacramento Economic Council alone, or even through our collective influence with all of our partners that are working so hard right now to support and help small business and keep the community going during COVID, we know that we have a small amount of resources and opportunity to help, and we certainly can't rescue all the businesses that are challenged and facing all kinds of obstacles right now. But with something like a tool like this, we feel it's one small part that we can play in making a tool available for businesses and community members that are, for example, unfortunately, have you been laid off? If you've been laid off and you're looking for a way to think about doing that solopreneurship startup or setting up a consulting practice that you'd always wanted to do, or maybe now you're forced to doing. This tool will help you with your business planning efforts. It will help a small business that is now having to decide completely how to repivot. Maybe you're thinking of new product lines, new service lines, different ways of getting products to customers. You need different ways to advertise because you need to reach a different client base altogether due to those pivots. This tool will help you. This is big data that would cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, take you through a million different rabbit holes trying to find it through a variety of sources. Again, most of which and many of which do have cost associated with them. It puts them all into one really unbelievable and amazing online turnkey solution to dig and to analyze and then to determine what a good path is for your business. So we're very excited about it. I'm a little bit of a data geek, and I've been watching this tool support communities across the country for a number of years. And what is wonderful about the SizeUp team that has built this tool, they're always innovating. They're always taking it forward. They're always thinking of new and creative solutions to help the business community. So I'm just very, very excited to partner with them and make this available for everyone out there in the region. We're really encouraging our local economic developers who are tremendous experts in each of their communities. We're encouraging them and providing this tool to them so that they can help small businesses directly. We want all of our chambers to take this tool and use it as if it's their own, because it is, and share it and use it with the small businesses that they're counseling, and make people aware that this is at least something that while they are stuck at home, while they have time on their hands that they probably didn't want to have on their hands, that they can utilize that for additional research and business planning. So hopefully, my greatest wish would be when this is all over that we can turn out even a handful of great case study examples of folks that were able to use this to the benefit of their business and come out on top. Greater Sacramento Economic Council as an organization is pivoting, and we are spending a tremendous amount of time. Our team is hard at work on long hours every day, thinking about recovery strategies, working with all of our regional partners to spend this time hyper-focused on what do we need to be doing to ensure that Greater Sacramento, not like after the Great Recession where it came out as one of the last regions to recover, but we want to be one of the first. We want to be head on. We have great projects and programs that were already in the queue that are still moving forward. We're celebrating that. We're promoting it, and we want to do everything else we can on the planning side to make sure that we are ready to essentially hit the green go button when the time is right. So with that, I am very excited to now transition over and introduce Natalia Baldev. He is the leading expert today, and I've had the great fortune of knowing him for a long time in the economic development field. He has served on the International Economic Development Council. He is a well-known and extremely respected and recognized expert in all things economic development, but definitely with data tools. He is an entrepreneur, an inventor, and an economic developer. He's CEO of SizeUp, but he has also received tremendous recognition for his work in GIS and economic development throughout his career. His work has been featured in the Wall Street Journal, Forbes, Bloomberg Business Week, Inc., Fortune, Entrepreneur, MSNBC, and the New York Times. In addition, while his company and he are located in San Francisco, he is originally born and bred in the Sacramento region. So if anyone has questions later, maybe you want to find out what high school he went to, I'll let somebody else put that in the Q&A if you're curious. So with that, Natalia, thank you so much for making the time to be with us today. Thank you for this tool. And please, if you can walk all of our guests through how to use the tool and some great examples of it in action, that would be wonderful.
Thank you so much for that very kind introduction, Danielle. So to all of the businesses who are on this webinar, I want to share with you some ways that you can use a tool to help you make better decisions and smarter decisions based on data. So I recognize that there is a diversity of people who are on the call. Some of you are owners of businesses. Some of you are aspiring entrepreneurs who are thinking about starting the business you always wanted to open as a result of changes in the economy. And then I also recognize there are some of you who are in situations where you may be needing to do self-employment. So I will try to talk about this, but in different situations, but this tool can be used for all of you. So I'd like to start by letting you know that if you go to selectsacramento.com, /SizeUp, you can get directly to this tool. And all you need to do is enter in your industry. So in this case, we'll say that we are a coffee shop in Sacramento, but it doesn't have to be Sacramento. If you're in West Sacramento or you're in Roseville or whatever city you're in, you can enter in that information. From there, you can enter in information that you know off the top of your head about your business. So you would probably already know how much money you make. So let's say you make $650,000 a year. What SizeUp did is it super crunched millions of data points from the local to the national level to be able to compare your business. And I want to be really specific. This is industry specific and it's hyper local. So this is not food and beverage generally. This is specific to coffee shops. Here you can see that our example coffee shop makes a little bit less than the typical coffee shop in the city of Sacramento, a little bit, even less than those in Sacramento County, the metro area, the state, and the US. Over on the right is a heat map. The areas in red are where coffee shops are making the most money, and yellow is where they're making less. This is useful if I'm thinking about opening up another coffee shop, or I want to target a marketing campaign, or maybe I just want to visit the coffee shops in these areas in red to figure out what it is that they're doing so well. Now, this is what you would do if you have an existing coffee shop, but maybe you're in the case where you're an aspiring entrepreneur, and what you want to do is you're planning to open up a coffee shop. Well, you can enter in what you think the revenue will be that you will make as a part of your process of putting together your business plan. And what this can help you identify is if your assumptions are accurate, if they're realistic. If you think that you're going to make $4 million a year at your brand new coffee shop, you just need to recognize that that is, well, it's unlikely, because most coffee shops across the entire country don't make anywhere near that type of money. You can also enter in the year you started. Let's say we started our business in 2012. What SizeUp did was it just plotted the openings of every coffee shop in the entire country. You can see this line that this is a robust industry. It's growing. If it's moving upward, that's a good sign, because it means that the businesses that are going out of business are getting replaced by new businesses, and there's more businesses in the coffee shop space that are entering. You can see the downturn of the last recession, and I'm sure we'll see another downturn coming out of the recession caused by coronavirus. If I'm not interested in the national or the California data, I can still see in the Sacramento metro that overall there is growth in this space. If you're thinking about opening up a business such as renting videos, right? Like Blockbuster style, what you'll see is that that's a declining industry, and you might want to make different decisions about your future if you're in a declining industry or if you're thinking about entering into one. Or salary. Let's say that we pay our employees $20,000 a year. We'll see that that is a bit higher than what is typical in Sacramento County, which is around $18,000. For many businesses, unless you're in manufacturing, the salaries for your employees is going to be one of your biggest expenses. Or numbers of employees. Let's say that you have 18 employees. I think we'll all agree that that is a small business, but it's not a small coffee shop. So the whole idea of what's big and small really gets turned on its head when you look at it through the lens of data. So for those of you who are existing businesses, or and you want to get a line of credit from your bank or something like that, and using the same example, maybe you make less than $1 million. So you're not showing like huge revenue numbers. Well, here you can see that amongst coffee shops, if you have 18 employees, you're in the 88th percentile. So this is something that you can show to a bank or an investor to show that, in fact, relative to other businesses like yours, you are quite successful. SizeUp triangulates a lot of information as you go on. In this case, it's showing your cost effectiveness. Now, in the case of our coffee shop, it has a below average cost effectiveness because we don't make so much money, we pay higher salaries, and we have a lot of employees. There's a lot of other data in here. You can look at revenue per capita. All of the information is interactive. As I mentioned to you, it's hyper local. So you can see in this case down to the neighborhood what's going on and which neighborhoods have more potential revenue opportunities. You can also see information such as the turnover. So what is typical for your industry? If you have to replace 5% of your employees every year, you're doing a great job, because in coffee shops, it's more common that 13% of employees have to be replaced. There's other data in here. I'm not going to take too much time. You can explore it yourself, including healthcare and workers' comp. But I'm going to click on Summary View. And now I can see within just a few minutes that it took us to enter that information, we get this overall dashboard of your business's health. We can see what it is that we're measuring. We can see what the number is for our business. And it's okay if you don't have a business background or an MBA, because you can really clearly see green is where it's more and red is where it's less. This is designed so anybody can go through it and get value from the information. I'm going to now go to the second tool. So if you click on competition, and in this case, I'm going to change the industry. For your business, you wouldn't do this, but I just want all of the people who are on the webinar to see that there are different options in terms of industry. So I'm going to now turn us into a roofing contractor. And now I can see all of the other roofing contractors in the area who may be potential competitors. But what I want is I want customers. So the customers that I want, I would probably want home builders. Perfect. So now in green, I can actually see all of those other home builders, and I can click on them if I want information about them. So for example, now I have a phone number, so I can set up a sales call, or I can visit their website. So in this example for Casabella Homes, let's say that I visit their website and I see that a lot of the homes that they build use Spanish tile clay, and that's one of, as for our roofing company, one of our specialties. So I can explain to them, hey, we do what you do. We're good at it. Give us the opportunity to earn your business. And by doing that research, you're turning a cold call into a warm call. I can also find suppliers. Let's say that I'd buy from hardware stores. Now I can see where those businesses are. I'm going to go back to customers, and I recognize that here I can now visualize. So I can see green are the businesses I want to do business with, and orange are all of my competitors. So look at this. There's a whole bunch of customers out here, and there's no competitors that are in the area. Maybe this is an opportunity for me to serve these businesses. Now, not all businesses, your business may not be a business-to-business type of company, but we also have business-to-consumer information. So let's say that I wanted to focus on the people who are paying the highest property taxes on their primary dwelling. Now I can see that information. And there's many different industries. So for example, I'm going to start over. If I was women's apparel, and all sorts of different types of clothing. If I was focused on women's coats and jackets, I can now see where people are spending the most so that I can target that disposable income. The next feature that I'll show you is about advertising. Now, as a small business, you know that it's important to do advertising, but you may not know how to target, and mass marketing just doesn't work anymore. You have to be very specific. Again, I'm going to change the industry. Let's say we're a dentist. Still a dentist in Sacramento. Just knowing those two things, I can now see where dentists are making the most money. It's in areas like the Arden Arcade and out by Natomas and so on. But maybe what I want is not to know where they're making the most money, but where the greatest opportunity is. So I'm going to click on most underserved markets. And now it's changed. You can see it's areas such as Florin, and I'll zoom in, North Oak Park, and South Natomas. Businesses are all different, and what we do is we provide them the tools so that they can change the data to customize it specifically for their situation. So for a cup of coffee, maybe I'm only willing to go a few miles. But for the right type of business, such as an architect or an engineer or a manufacturer, I mean, whatever it is that where I'd be willing to go greater distance for, I can adjust it. If I know that my customer tends to be higher in terms of income, now we see it's a different group of businesses. I'm sorry, it's a different group of areas that is the right match for me. Or if I know that I'm looking for an area where household expenditures tends to be higher, I can continue to refine and find out exactly what those places are that are a good match. Or maybe I tend to focus on a younger demographic. So I want to find households and neighborhoods that is a better match for me. Or if I tend to focus on customers that have higher education levels. So now I've gone from the whole universe of possibilities down to these specific postal areas. And I can take this information and I can put it into Google AdWords or Facebook advertisements, or I can put up a billboard, or if I want to target a neighborhood publication, I can do that. So these are the three key features that you can use to optimize your business or to plan for your business. It's advertising, competition, and the benchmarking tool. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Danielle, and we're happy to answer any questions you may have.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Well, I've already received a question from the audience, and I know this may be a long one to answer if you want to talk about a couple of different things. So, where does your data come from? Tell us about the data sources.
Sure. Thanks for asking that question. So there is unfortunately only a very long answer to that question. So I'm going to give you the short version, which is that the data comes from hundreds of public and private data sources. It comes from information such as IRS records, county courthouse filings. There's information that's available online and through businesses' websites. There's tremendous amounts of information. And what we do is we take that type of firmographic data, so data about businesses. We also combine this with demographic data. And so demographic data, fundamentally, a lot of it comes from census, but we don't use just census data because even though we're all in the process of going through the census right now, census data is now over 10 years old. So we're using current year data based on projections so that you can make decisions in 2020 with 2020 data. The firmographic data and a lot of that information is updated each fiscal quarter. So that way you're getting the most current information. There's more about this, and we'd be happy to reach out with the detailed information. But if I keep talking about data, I know there's going to be a group of people who are going to glaze over who are attending this webinar right now.
I'll raise my hand on that one because I'm one of them. I do have a quick question that somebody's asking that I'll just repeat the answer to because I know it. Rosemary wanted to know if we'll be sending a replay so she can see a few minutes that she missed. Absolutely. We will be sending a survey link to everyone that was registered. And if you fill that out, then you'll get a recording right away. We will also post it on the events page of our website within 48 hours, if not sooner. So we'll definitely be doing that. Let's see. I do have another question. After the webinar, are there how to use videos that we can work through to try out different examples? And Natalia, I'll share that I do have a very simple, probably even simpler than what Natalia just showed, up on our site, selectsacramento.com/SizeUp, with a short tutorial that I had the pleasure of putting together. We are there to help walk you through it. But Natalia, maybe are there any resources that we need to know about through SizeUp itself?
Yes, so directly through the service on the Select Sacramento website, you're going to be able to see videos of how to use the tool, and there's help there that walks you through the process. But it's a really simple system, but there are videos and text to explain to you more about how to use it.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we have an email address on that webpage, selectsacramento.com/sizeup. We have a general email address. It's businessdevelopment@selectsacramento.com. The nice thing about that email is it goes to about 4 of our team members all at once. So we can ensure that somebody is seeing that email very quickly if someone else is otherwise indisposed. So send any inquiries or questions there if you want to get on the line with us for a little bit with some questions. If it's not a question that our team can answer that we need to ask SizeUp for more technical support on, we'll be happy to do that as well and reach out to them. One of our friends, Sarah, is asking if we can review again how a small business can participate in the program. And the great part about this is it is free and live and available on our website 24/7. That's a wonderful piece of and part of digital tools like this. So they don't have to do anything. They can just go straight to the page and start using it and continue to do that. So again, it's available to everyone. I did have a question.
I get the sense, Danielle, that Sarah thinks that this is too good to be true. but Sarah, it's exactly as Danielle explained. So there's no barrier. This is for everyone. It's for you. You just have to go onto the Greater Sacramento Economic Council website and link to it. And that's all you have to do so that you can participate.
I do have a technical question for you to answer to the audience. There is a sign-in button on the page. What is the functionality of that? Do they need to sign in to use the tool or not?
So you do not need to, at this moment, sign in to use the tool. We may enable that so that you can save your information in the future.
Mm-hmm. Great. So again, no requirement to sign in any way, shape, or form. So that's the nice piece as well. People can go in and play around with this tool, wander through the data. We're not capturing your information in any way other than just general trends. And what we are very excited about, which I shared with Natalia, is once we push this out, we've really only done a soft launch so far to start getting the word out with people. This has already become our 6th most visited page on our Greater Sacramento website after the first week out of the last 6 months. So in the last 6 months, it's already the number 6 visited. So I'm very excited that people are finding it and seem to be playing with it and are excited about it. So that is wonderful. I do also have someone who is asking. Angela wanted to know, she said, thank you for sharing the tool with the region. You are absolutely welcome. Also thank Barry Broom, our CEO, who gave me the green light to get this going. He thought it was a wonderful idea. How long do you expect this tool to be available to the public through Select Sacramento? And I can tell you, we anticipate indefinitely, absolutely for the next 12 months. And our work with SizeUp really anticipates that we're going to be together for at least 3 years. So I think, until such point that the whole community says they don't like or need this, which I really don't think is going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that we're really recognizing is that small businesses are at a big competitive disadvantage by being on the wrong side of the digital divide when it comes to data and accessing information, such as business intelligence. Whereas huge corporations can hire management consulting firms to help them, small businesses don't have access to this. So this is a tool where you as a small business or an aspiring entrepreneur or someone who's thinking about that process of starting a business, you can now access the same type of data that the biggest companies in the country are using. And it's because we want you to make smarter decisions and we want you to be successful. We don't want small businesses to fail. And this is a way so that you can better understand what's going on in your industry and to find more customers and quality suppliers and target your marketing.
Wonderful. All right. I do have two more questions. One I did get, and Mario actually helped me address this. I had a question because we have a partner in one of our counties that manages the unincorporated area of the county, and they were wondering if there was a way to kind of parse out, or if they had a business in that unincorporated area, where would that business, or how should they use the tool? I don't know if you're able to share the screen, or maybe just talk through that. I think Mario understands the question I was looking at, and I think the high level answer is really, pick a location in the region that you're trying to analyze, and then you can get down, as you all saw, to the granular level of zooming in and out. Mario or Natalia, did you have anything to add on that?
Yes, I'm happy to answer that. So, for example, I grew up in Sacramento, but I wasn't in the city proper. I was in unincorporated county. However, I did have a Sacramento address for my residence, or in this case, my parents' residence. And so if you are a business and you're in unincorporated Sacramento, or it could be anywhere, any of the counties in your region, just enter in whatever is your mailing address, because there will be other businesses that have that same city as their mailing address, and that's how the analysis is done. So businesses that are in unincorporated areas are not excluded from using this, and the data about businesses in those unincorporated areas is also included. It is comprehensive.
I'll open it up one more time. If there's anyone on the call that wanted a demo or any walkthrough for maybe a specific industry or type of business. And I do have a follow-up questions on the previous. If you're physically located or working from home in Placer County, can you still search for information in Sacramento and other counties?
Yes, you can. You can search for information in any of the counties served by the Greater Sacramento Economic Council.
Wonderful. And the response to that was, "You're the bomb." So we'll take that. We're enjoying this. Did anyone else have any special requests for demonstration while we're online? Let's see. Okay, great. Please run a service business like a small law firm. And Natalia, would you be able to reshare it?
Sure.
Maybe
I can do that, but you're going to let me share again. All right.
Olivia will hand you those permissions in just a second.
So this is an example. So we'll go back to my business, and
if you all want to share where that law firm is located, or where you're thinking about locating it, we could even get to that level.
Right. So let's say, so you just type in law. So I put in lawyer. So offices of lawyers. So you can put in, and maybe we'll pick a different, let's put Elk Grove. Okay. We can put in whatever our revenue is. So let's say that we think that we're going to do 900,000, or actually I think this one that's a smaller one, right? We can put in a smaller number. Although I bet, yeah, you see that'd be quite small. So what's more common, at least I'm looking at Elk Grove, is about 1 million. So let me just bump it up. So now we can see what the numbers are for attorneys. So just type in whatever keywords there are for the industry that you're in and put in the city that you're located. And now you can see, so for example, in the Elk Grove area, you can see that the areas in Laguna, so just to the west of 99, that's where the lawyers are doing revenue in the about 1.5 to 3 million range, which is not to say that other areas in Elk Grove aren't still strong. They're strong, but it gives you a sense about where business is doing better. Let's look at what the growth or decline has been of lawyers. And we'll see it not in California, but in the region. So you can see in the metro area, generally there's growth. There's been some decline that's happened since peaking in 2015, but overall it's still around a line that's showing general growth, and so on. So what are the salaries that lawyers typically make? I don't know. Let's see if that's anywhere in the range. Yeah, so that's in the range of what is common in a legal office. A bit more in the state, but around 100,000. And you can see where salaries are higher or lower. You can see this even as you go out to see it for all of the areas in California. All right. So this just gives you a sense about, you can put in any of the industries and put in any location, any location within your service area.
Excellent. While you're sharing this, Natalia, we also had a question. Is there a way to just hit a clear button or do a reset of all of the inputs in your fields if you're changing it up kind of earlier when it still held your inputs, or would you just refresh the web page?
Yeah, you can refresh the web page, or you can just delete the information and I'll go in there. It saves it during your session so that you, as you go from tool to tool, you don't lose the information. But it's a pretty simple process. Or if you just want to restart, you can refresh the page.
Excellent. All right. And then the very last request I had, I think it essentially be very similar for residential real estate in Sacramento. Again, same concept. You can put in your residential real estate right there and start getting an idea of who you want to target.
That's exactly right. And there's information in here so you can look at issues relating to whatever it is, whether it be shelter or what people are spending on utilities, however it is that you figure out who your best audience is, all that information is there.
Great. And I do have a question from Sarah. This is a good question. How does a business save the data from their search? So they've done a search and they want to capture this information and then go translate it over into a business plan.
So the information it does save the information for you. We've just recently launched this with Greater Sacramento, so we have to make some decisions about what information is allowed to be saved. You can, certainly you can copy and paste information out of there, but I think this is something that we're going to have to get back to you about as we and Greater Sacramento make some decisions about what information we allow to be saved.
Right. But in the meantime, they could certainly simply print the web page or print it to PDF, or like you said, just write it down and save it, or copy and paste.
And for those of you, I'm seeing a message from another one of my team members who is saying that if you're on the Apple or the Mac OS, you can print all of this to a PDF.
Great. All right. Wonderful. Well, with that, I thank everyone. What an engaging audience. This is wonderful. I'm just so thrilled to see people interested in this. So thank you all so much. We are, again, going to make this available online as a recording. We're going to share this information, and we are here to continue to offer support because I think people are going to hopefully get into this tool and come up with tons of questions on how they can continue to advance and use it. So with that, I believe that Barry Broom, our president and CEO, is around, and we were going to ask him. I love to put my boss on the spot, but the wonderful thing is he's even been able to talk about this tool already publicly and with the media. Barry, do you have any comments about the importance of the small business community and all the work that we're doing at Greater Sacramento to support the region?
Yeah, well, first off, I want to thank Danielle and the founders of SizeUp. She's doing a great job for us in our community. I want to thank all my colleagues for getting on. We built this organization so that when the community needed someone to lead them through transitions, there was actually institutional grit behind that leadership. So I saw a number of my colleagues, Bill Scott and others. So I really appreciate the fact that everyone is on here. And to answer the first question, the reason I have the Golden Gate Bridge behind me is this is where all the companies are going to move from to Sacramento. I just got a little email on that. But the other reason why I have the Golden Gate Bridge behind me is I'm digitally unskilled. It's either this or like a dolphin flying over the moon. I have not figured out how to.
Because we're socially distancing, none of us have been willing to go to Barry's house and fix his computer for him.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I can do a couple of things, but, it's this or the Ohio State flag for some reason. So anyway, just all kidding aside, this is about rethinking how we do business. And to my colleagues on the call, I've been going over the Brookings Institute report. And, if you know what jobs are 500 to 1,000% up, it's jobs with digital skills. So, we have to help these businesses transform digitally. SizeUp is a great tool Thank you, Danielle, for your leadership. Our job is to provide a comprehensive set of economic services to our community, not just business attraction. That's what people think of us, but whether it's design thinking, analytics, evidence, workforce training, consulting, all the things necessary to move the community to recovery is the mission of this organization. So I want to thank everybody for being on the call. Danielle, thank you for your leadership. Size Up, and we're going to continue to provide our own digital transformation to help our own community with its digital transformation.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Olivia's going to put a closing slide up now that reminds everybody of where you can go for information during COVID and after. SelectSacramento.com, SelectSacramento.com/COVID-19 resources. There's that SizeUp link. If you have questions about future events and programs, email events@SelectSacramento.com. That'll get to Olivia. Please also go to our website and sign up for our weekly newsletters, because that's where you're going to see information for what we are anticipating are going to be weekly webinars on a wide variety of topics during the COVID transition and all of the issues we're dealing with. We're going to be focusing on timely resources, tools, and conversations, but we're going to be continuing that into the future, where we start talking about growing industries and other things that we're doing to really continue to advance this economy. So thank you all very much. Have a wonderful afternoon, and we hope to see you on our next webinar.